Hey everyone, Adam here. Welcome back to another video. This one, we've got a really exciting one. We're going to be talking about how I made $1.2 million on Black Friday, basically during a 2-week period for a Shopify brand. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this one because I'm going to be talking about pulling back the curtain on what we got planned for this year to pretty much hopefully double that or close to for the Black Friday this year, and basically give you kind of the whole setup and everything that we got planned for this year. So if you've never seen any of my videos before, first of all, welcome. My name is Adam Matthews. Been in the e-commerce space for about almost 8 years now, basically helping e-commerce brands grow. So welcome, and let's get right into it. So basically, Black Friday results, we'll cover off these here first. So basically, there's two different accounts. The reason why, because there's one for Canada and one for the US. And you can see here, the spend was $139,000 in the Canadian one. I'll actually zoom in a little bit more, and then bringing back almost $870,000 in revenue with a 6.24x, and then $153,000 for the US one with $378K in revenue with a 2.47. So not as good, but US market is in general a lot more competitive, usually 10 times more competitive than the Canadian market. So basically, if you add it all up between the two accounts, just for Black Friday period, so we're only talking, this is for 23, no 15 and no 29. So literally just basically until Black Friday leading up to it. So not even Cyber Monday actually as well too. So add it all up, $292,000 and $1.2 million, even more than that actually, in revenue with a 4.27x return on ad spend. Now, up next, basically want to kind of go over the overview of the timeline, kind of stats and budget going like last year and then also this year, kind of just a little sneak peek, some of the ads and content, overall kind of what we got planned and all that kind of stuff and what was done last year. And then basically the offer as well too, and then also go into some recommendations. Now for this year here, because Cyber Monday is actually going into December, I think it's like December 2nd or something, we're actually be running, well, starting on No 14, so which is basically 2 Thursdays before Black Friday. We always find that launching in a week or two in advance, preferably 2 weeks, just performs significantly better. We'll literally find that this weekend, basically that Thursday to Sunday, literally does better than Black Friday weekend. Just because CPMs, basically the cost to show the cost per thousand impression, basically literally about doubles. Sometimes on that Black Friday weekend, it's just everyone and their grandma is literally advertising that weekend. So competition just gets a little fierce, if you will. And then going to basically the Wednesday, I believe, after Cyber Monday, essentially. And then from after that, it's all Christmas stuff, Boxing Day, all of that fun stuff. So basically last year, just for the Canadian campaigns, just for Black Friday. So basically the way we do is we split it out. We basically have our main evergreen campaigns, which we basically just kind of start scaling up as soon as the promo drops. And then after that, well, alongside that, we'll launch dedicated Black Friday campaigns, which is interesting that basically for these here, just for the BFCM campaigns, we spent about $153K and brought back $835 in revenue with a 5.44x. Now, what's interesting is that the ones for the US, we spent $112 and brought back only $269 with a 2.39x. So I've taken a look at that data. Basically, what we decided is we're going to basically bump up Canada by a lot. And when I say a lot, probably about 250 or so allocated to just the BFCM campaigns for Canada. Now, in total, we spent $236,000 in Canada. So we're probably going to be spending probably close to bump it up to about $400,000 in Canada, maybe close to 500. We'll see how it plays out, depending on how this number looks. And then with the US, we're actually going to peel back a little bit more. We just want to dominate the Canadian market, just got to be, if you're in Canada, you're probably going to see your ads. Just be on the lookout. And then basically for US, probably going to peel back a little bit, probably about 75-ish instead of the 112. And the reason being is because the return ad spend numbers, they really need about around a 2x or so, give or take. It kind of ranges. They have a lot of different collections and stuff like that. But give or take 2x is kind of the break-even number. So we're just above that slightly. So it's just getting into some treacherous territory. Overall, of course, a little bit higher, about a 2.48x. So yeah, we'd rather just allocate more to Canada essentially. So that's kind of the game plan there. Now in terms of the ads, we're actually going to load the boat this time. So we had a bunch of whitelisted videos from #paid last year, and then 12 dedicated ads in Canada and 13 ads in US. So basically this was about a bit of a mixture in terms of photo, like static and video. Pretty simple, honestly, like Black Friday, then just nicely graphic designed, with the offer on there, Black Friday messaging across different videos and photos. And then also the whitelisted videos did really, really well, and they were dedicated towards Black Friday. Now this year, basically what we got planned is we're going to load the boat with user generated content. So about 24 video ads is what we got planned. And then on top of that, double the amount of statics that we do. So probably about 12 statics, 24 user generated content videos. So that's right there, about 36 ads, and then probably some other videos as well. Probably about 6 or so from there. So all in, just over 40 ads in Canada, and then basically US probably not as much. But if we're going to be spending that, probably 250 on the BFCM campaigns, maybe even 300. We'll see how it goes. We're probably going to start at 250 and probably gradually increase it if it does well. And this is over just 2 week period, by the way. So per day, I have to run the quick math on that, to be honest. I mean, let's actually take a look here, to be honest. We got 250 and then divided by 14. So probably about 17, 18K a day just on the Black Friday campaigns, not including all the evergreen stuff. So, but basically the reason why I'm breaking down like this is because we usually set it up in the lifetime budget CBO campaigns for the designated Black Friday campaigns. And the reason why we do that is because we already know there's a hard end date, right? So we already know that it's going to end on December 4th. So basically what we do is we set a lifetime budget instead of a daily budget. And basically what that does is allows it to basically spend more on days where there's, better conversions, and then it peels back when it's like a slower day. So rather than it having to spend 17 grand, it might spend, 20K and then might peel back and spend 15 grand and so on, right? Based off, how the performance is. So that's why we do it, because we already know there's a designated end date. Now, a mistake that we used to make in the past is we used to have like some pre-Black Friday sale, then the main Black Friday sale, then pause all that, and then launch some Cyber Monday stuff. Now we just cut all that crap, and it's just one main promo. It's basically Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Like, it's just one thing. We let it run all the way through and focus on just, cutting out losers, scaling budget, etc., and just feed it all just plan in advance really, really well, get everything set up really, really well, and then execute like that, rather than just like frantically pausing and relaunching and all this kind of stuff. What basically ends up happening is you kind of lose all the learnings and all that kind of stuff, and you lose all the momentum. It's much, much, much better to just set up one set of campaigns for it, or one campaign, if you will, designated for it, and then let it run all the way. So don't make that mistake like we were doing. Now, in terms of the offer, pretty standard. Basically, we're going to do an up to 40% off with a site-wide discount code. A couple things here. You want to keep the site-wide discount code simple. Black Friday, BFCM, like anything along the lines, just super simple, to be honest. You do not want them to be confused. And notice how the offer is super simple. It's not like some crazy tiered, like spend 60 to 80 bucks, get this amount off, spend, you know what I mean? It just gets super confusing. With this here, very, very straightforward, gets and hooks them in too as well. And the thing is, not the entire site's not 40% off. Now, basically how it's structured is like the more you spend, it's like bulk discount ordering. So the more you spend, you're going to get closer to that and then eventually hit the 40% off. So it starts off at around 10 to 20% and then it kind of goes up from there. It is kind of some marketing thing about, at least it's 40% off. I remember when I was at this mall one time, I think around the holiday season, I remember saw in massive letters 70% off store wide. I was like, oh wow. And then basically went in there and I couldn't find anything even remotely close to that. And then when I left the store, I basically looked at the sign again and it said up to in the tiniest little text. I was like, cheeky, but you got to respect it. But it got me in the store, but then I didn't even see anything. I was even remotely close, 70% off. What the heck is this? So something to consider there. But yeah, keep it simple. Don't go too crazy complex. I feel like a lot of people really overcomplicate Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that kind of stuff, and make it sound insanely complex and has to be so detailed. You honestly have to keep it simple. Like, look at the spend that we're pushing through and really like just have a good offer, know exactly what the time frame is. Like, you don't really have to overcomplicate it. We've done this many years. It's just, I feel like a lot of people make it super complex, and it's not really that complex, to be honest. Let's be honest. Even though it seems, a lot of numbers and kind of mapping it all out and, a lot of planning and stuff. As long as you plan it out really, really well, you plan out all the details, you're going to be just fine, to be honest. So finally, overall recommendations. Like I was saying, have it just a simple offer, but make sure it's your best offer of the year. You do not want to be, Black Friday, you got to go big, for a couple of reasons. One, like the consumer spending is just ridiculous. It's one of the most popular times of the year. So that's very, very important. And two, it's the most competitive. So you got to stay competitive and you got to have your best offer there. Otherwise, if it's just kind of a meh offer, like I've seen some brands, they'll do like, get free shipping for this Black Friday. I'm like, free shipping? It's not going to move the needle. You know what I mean? You got to go big. Some big free gift, some big X amount off. site-wide, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully it makes sense. Also, you want to launch everything in unison. If you're doing organic and you got email and you got all these things, just launch everything all in unison. Unless for email, you're doing like a VIP segment, totally fine to do that before and then do your main one. But just make sure that's launched all in unison. Also launched on multiple platforms. For this brand specifically, we're also going to be doing Snapchat, Pinterest as well, probably a little bit of TikTok as well too. So, and of course, Meta and Google as well. And then also plan well in advance content wise. Like I was saying, we're going to be planning about 42 ads in total. Make sure you're not doing that last minute. Just plan well in advance. Like I was saying, it's very simple, but just make sure you're planned and you're organized. Otherwise, you're going to be scrambling last minute, and nobody wants to be dealing with that stress. And then also another thing as well too. So for any winning landers that you've tested all throughout the year, big mistake I see is you do not want to create brand new ones and make them Black Friday themed. All you have to do is literally just take the top performers that you've tested throughout the year and just add the Black Friday messaging. You don't need to create a brand new specific lander. If you're doing a list goal, editorial, shopable page, anything like that, just keep it, same thing, just add the offer on there. Literally, that's the only thing that needs to change, and it'll convert really, really well. So last piece here as well is push yourself and go bigger every year. If you're profitable, if you're seeing good profitable numbers, don't be afraid to spend bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously, we're getting to this point, we're spending, in total, I think, what is it? Now we spent almost basically for the month, I think we spent well over $350 or so. So don't be afraid to go big and just continue to push yourself each and every year. So that's the thing for all the brands that we work with year over year. Always push them to kind of go harder and harder, especially if it's going to make them more money. Then obviously it's an absolute no-brainer. So, but yeah, that kind of concludes the video. Let me know if there's any questions to help you get prepped for it. Also, if you guys need a hand, you own a brand, got good proof of concept, doing at least $25,000 a month on Shopify, and you need a hand with all this Black Friday stuff, I invite you to schedule a free little consultation myself. We'll sit down. I can see if we can help you out, and we'll take it from there. So cheers for watching all the way to the end. If I don't ever talk to you in person, good luck on Black Friday, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.